Hi, this is the tutorial for the WSMA drum set etude. Hopefully there'll be some things in here that will make your success a little bit easier when you work on this etude. So first thing that you notice, the piece is Shiny Stockings, and it's basically the run-up into the shout chorus in that tune. The album that recording is off of is April in Paris. You should definitely get it and check it out. Sonny Payne is the drummer on that. But I would also encourage you to get on there, look up the rest of the players, just so you get a sense of who the Basie band is and what members comprise that band. It's such a great recording and obviously such a great band. So after you've listened to the recording 100,000 times or so, the first thing that I would do after that then would be to go to those parts, and specifically I think it's 101 to the end that you're reading. Find that in the music and start there and learn to sing all of those horn parts. I know that that's something that we as drummers don't frequently do, but we need to learn what the rest of the instruments are playing. So sing those horn parts and memorize them so that those are stuck in your head. When you're doing that audition, you're not going to be playing along with a recording, and you want to be sure that you know where you are, not just by counting, but by knowing what the music is going on there too. It'll also help you shape what you're playing on the drum set through there. Once you're comfortable singing along with the recording, again, all those horn parts, then sing those parts and play time over the top of it. That will be another good hurdle to get over, just to make sure that you're comfortable with what's going on. That may be a little bit challenging, particularly if you haven't sung before while you're playing, but I really encourage you to do that. That will be really, really helpful. Both singing and playing with the brushes and singing and playing with the sticks too, because you've got both in that section. The next thing I would consider is how do you transition from your brushes to your sticks. And there are a multitude of different ways to do that. I want you to think about this in terms of choreography basically, and the distinctive sounds of both the brushes and the sticks. So probably the most general way we think of that brush sound is that solid sort of white noise that's going on with the brush. That's the really distinctive sound of the brushes, whereas for the stick, primarily it's going to be when we're over on the ride cymbal. So when I make that transition, I want to think about letting this essentially bleed right over into that ride cymbal part. So what I might suggest doing is doing some choreography on this. So if I'm playing time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, put it down on 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's where that fill starts. So let me just talk through that one more time. We're going to play time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm going to put this over on beat 2, my brush over here to get it out of the way. Notice it's resting on the rims, so it's not on the head. Pick up my stick with my right hand. Once I start in with time with that, I can put my left brush down, again on the rims over here by the snare, pick up my left stick, and then I'm ready to go. So I'll go through that a couple times just so you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, you notice too, I'm starting off on the fill that he uses in that particular part, just so you have a context as to where that is in the music. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll be good to go from there. Now, when we move into the shout section and we've got all these crashes and big sounding moments, what I would encourage you to think about is how you're crashing your cymbals. Obviously, these are a little bit bigger cymbals. In the jazz idiom, frequently you'll have 20-inch, maybe 22-inch cymbals. They're pretty thin, so I can crash them without too much worry. And what I want to think about when I crash that is use the shoulder of the stick and use a glancing blow. Versus, really coming at it straight on with a lot of force. I don't think we want to hear that sound. And then too, you will, generally speaking, double a crash with a drum of some variety. Primarily, Sonny Payne uses his bass drum in this recording, so you'll hear. Now, one of the tricks that we want to think about too is not just where the setups are, meaning the parts I'm playing leading up to the crash and the crash, but I need to think how I'm getting out of those crashes as well. So there are a couple points where we see 1, 2, 3, 4, ba, ba, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to think about how to get back into time after that. So I want to let that crash sort of breathe a little bit, if you will, and I'm going to start time back up on beat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to match what those horn parts are playing, and since they're sustaining, we want our sound to be sustained as well too, and that will be pretty smooth, I think, if you work that into the right cymbal pattern. Hopefully when you spend time listening to Sonny, you'll hear what he does through all that, and that will be helpful there as well. The other thing that I would really encourage you to do is steal from Sonny. I know that sounds funny, but that is one of the best ways to learn this vocabulary, is to use material that he put on the recording. You'll notice in my recording that it's not an exact transcription, certainly, of what Sonny played, but it's very reflective of what he played during that. What's great about those parts is it's super clear for the band. It lays on the drums really, really nicely, and they're just fantastic ideas from one of the best big bands that ever existed in jazz music. So if you can take and use some of those ideas, I think that would be really, really beneficial for you, just in regards of building vocabulary, but also having command of the instrument, and once you put that with the big band too, having some authority behind the drum set so that it's easier for the horn players to play their parts as well. One other note that I'll say on that too is he plays that part a little bit differently than what you might think of when you read that music. So again, that's why I would encourage you to go to the recording first. It's going to be really helpful to know what he's playing and what he's not playing based on those parts. Again, in that written part, there are figures that Sonny chooses not to play, and there's lots that are not notated that he does play, and I think that's really helpful to think about. And I'm going to give you one other quick thing to search for too while you're in there digging around in the recording, is listen to where he comps. It's relatively bare compared to a lot of recordings, so meaning he's very thoughtful about where he puts extra notes comping on the snare drum, extra things with the bass drum, let's say, or maybe even ride cymbal comping. So spend some time really digging out those nuggets, because they are completely worth it to do, and I think it's best if you go in and do that work. You'll get the most out of it. So hopefully these tips will be helpful for you to have a successful audition, and enjoy that recording. You won't regret any time that you spend with it.